legends untold, from first pop drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the drama unfold.
Given the Leafs the lead. This time we're gonna finish the job.
Huge moves are incoming for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and as the draft inches closer and closer and moves are on the horizon, we have a lot of reports, rumors, tons of different things to go over today, folks. We have also some brand new reports that have dropped just moments ago surrounding Brad Marchand, tons of different things. So there's a lot to go over today. You're going to want to stay tuned till the end. There's a lot to go over, folks. But first, welcome in everybody in the chat as Shane comes in with an early 10 gifted members. First of all, Shane, welcome back to our the streams. If you got gifted membership from Shane, you have access to a bunch of perks. So make sure to check those out. Emotes, a ton of different things. We're going to be revamping that system as well this off season. But Shane, everybody in the chat, what's up, Nick as well? It's going to be interesting. Now, Darius, what are your thoughts on all this news that is dropping? Now, we do have some reports. I saw someone in the chat talking about Brad Marchand. I saw someone in the chat talking about a bunch of different things. There's some Mitch Marner stuff. We're going to have videos coming out throughout the night today into tomorrow morning still. Shane, thank you again for the 10 gifted members, getting the stream back on track here. Whew, a lot to go over today, and it's a little bit wild at this point. We have a lot of stuff here, but DNA change. We'll start with that. It's on the horizon. I'm curious to see what everybody in the chat's thoughts are in the offseason thus far, things that are happening. We'll dive into Mitch Marner, everything like that, but welcome in, everybody.
Yeah, DNA change is taking place in front of our very eyes at this point. I think Brad Treliving is going to make some moves that nobody sees coming. I feel like they're going to really go off the board here, and it's going to be very exciting and make a couple moves. We know that they're going to be involved in trades. We covered that in a video yesterday, and we'll cover that obviously in this stream. But I think something that no one really saw coming is going to, come out here. And Shane, again, thank you very much for the right off the bat there. You've been an OG since the beginning, so appreciate you. But yeah, should be a lot of fun to get into today. And there's a lot moving behind the scenes. Like Brad Treliving has a plan, just waiting for the dominoes to fall. The draft is obviously coming up in a few days. I want to talk about Mitch Marner. Got some of this stuff prepped. Obviously it doesn't look good in favor of Marner, but I want to talk about it because, I feel like there's been a real divide between the fan base since Game 7. And it's been interesting to watch because a lot of people are with Austin Matthews. There's a lot of people who are against Austin Matthews. A lot of people are hoping Mitch Marner comes back. I am not one of those people personally, but we'll get into it in this stream. But, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. And again, I feel like the Leafs are going to be way more active via trade than, which sounds weird because they have no assets, but they do at the same time. We'll get into it. But yeah, it should be, I don't know. It's going to be an exciting offseason, very different one this year. They're changing the team completely, which I think is exciting. And yeah, I don't even know if John Tavares, Nick, I want your thoughts on this too. And the chat, of course. I'm not even convinced at this point that John Tavares is coming back.
Yeah, very good chance that he leaves. What's up, Marshall, Ryan, Doc, everyone, Joshua as well, everyone coming in. Yeah, John Tavares, look at the core four here. We're going to dive into some of the reports in a minute. But first, I want everybody in the chat right now. What's up? I need to get Josh a membership. I know, Shane. Type yes or no, just simple yes or no. Do you think Mitch Marner is going to be a Leaf come October Game 1? I think I know what the overwhelming response is going to be, but just type yes or no if you think Marner will, yes, be a Leaf come October, or no, he won't be a Leaf. What's up, Prophet, as well? Hope you're doing good. Now, talking about John Tavares, yeah, I think there's, with each, Shane coming back with another 10. Shane, you're going crazy today. If you got a gifted membership, Zach, Greg, Dubroy, everyone in here, as everyone's putting in there, I'm assuming what's going to be an overwhelming amount of no's, but within all of that, Shane, thank you again for the 10 gifted. We're going to have, again, an overhauled membership system with a bunch of new perks, a bunch of new things like that coming out probably later mid-July-ish. So if you're here early, you got a little sneak peek. A bunch of people are saying no. Shane, again, your support's unbelievable. You're an OG, so thank you for that. It means the world, and good to have you back in the lives. We're gonna be going live weekly from here on out, bearing some weeks, of course, but probably Tuesdays is honestly probably the day that we're gonna be doing them. Works best for both of us.
We'll definitely be live next Tuesday, July 1st.
Yeah.
So we'll be
So it
live
works
during
well,
free
actually.
agency. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Obviously, again, I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. There's going to be a lot to talk about in terms of like where Mitch Marner's actually going that day, but I don't think the Leafs are going to be too active that day. I have to be honest, and we'll see. I feel like a lot of these trades are going to linger into the summer, but should be should be a lot of fun. And again, a lot of no's across the board. I don't think Mitch Marner's coming back, guys. I don't think it's a thing where it's a thing where he doesn't want to come back. I feel like, and at the same time, the Toronto Maple Leafs should not come back.
Yeah,
or should not re-sign him.
Re-sign
I think
him.
at this point.
Yeah, and even for John Tavares here, I don't think either side has shown its hand yet, which is very intriguing to me because, I mean, obviously now it's up Papa Pauly coming in. It has been a while. It's our first stream since not the end of the playoffs, but I believe the last stream we had was when I was in Toronto. So the press conference with Brad Living, right?
That's right.
That was the one. So it's interesting. A lot of no's and maybe 2 yeses all the way through, a couple maybes for Mitch Marner, and we'll dive into stuff. Also, if you're in here now, you have a little sneak peek. We'll have a video up in about 2 hours on the Mitch Marner situation. So if you're in the stream now and you see that video come up, comment in the video. But yeah, there's a lot of reports to go over, and I mean, Nick's coming in with the 10 gifted members. Okay, we're gonna maybe rehaul this gifted membership system even faster. A lot of perks are coming out that you guys are going to enjoy. We're going to have a ton of different things on the horizon to make them even better. So if you're new and you got new members, again, Nick comes in with the 10 gifted. Sol, Mick, Gerard, Tyson, everybody who's in here. Wow, the unbelievable support by you guys today. It's we're back. The community is back. All we need is Jim and some of the guys to come back. Fan, you started a trend.
Missing a couple names from the chat that are regulars, but there's a couple new names as well. And yeah, this is an early stream on a weekday too, so we appreciate the support for sure. But in terms of John Tavares, I could see him going to Anaheim as well. I think at the end of the day, I keep saying it in every video, just how badly do you want to be a Toronto Maple Leaf? He has the Leafs. Let's make it clear, the Leafs have all the leverage here. Like, John Tavares has a family. We know that he wants to stay here. Of course, the Leafs are not going to bend, nor should they, considering everything that's happened for the last 8 years. So the Leafs have all the leverage in the world. If he really, really, really wants to make $8 million in Anaheim or something, I'm sure that they're going to give it to him. They have all the cap space, and they could use a guy like that. I feel like they're going to make a run at Mitch Marner too, but I feel like he's going to be going to Vegas. That's something that we'll cover in a video later tonight as well. But yeah, I think that, it's going to be very, very interesting in terms of players going out the door, but obviously you want to look towards the future and what might come in. If John Tavares does leave, which I'm not saying it's going to happen, I feel like there's still a lot of work to be done.
Just got a poll up for the Marner situation. I know someone said,
it's going to be.
I do like to ask the chat first because I like seeing the spam of no's. This is kind of funny, but yes, we do. We'll have a poll there.
Papa Pauly with a great question too. Just to wrap this up, did you hear about the Marchand stuff earlier this morning? Yes, but the screenshot that Biz tweeted out is literally could be anybody, and he said that it was like a 4 times 9 or something like that, something like that in terms of the contract, which is, listen, I want Brad Marchand, but $9 million is absolutely bonkers. So
I think
that's
I do think that's who he's talking about, though. By the way. I think that maybe an Aaron Ekblad situation could be as well. There's some interesting.
For sure. Yeah. I would like Ekblad on the team. You just have to make a couple moves at first. And, we had a video earlier about maybe Brandon Carlo's at the door. It's a lot harder to move a guy like Morgan Riley at this point. Not impossible. Chris Drury's doing it. Chris Drury's doing some interesting stuff over in New York to get rid of guys with no movement clauses. But still, that is it's definitely an option. It's definitely an option, I think, at this point.
Thank you, M. Rob. Yes, Dave, I got you. There's a few different things here. What's up, Jose? Hope you're doing well. Jose is also a longtime viewer. Yeah, so I know someone asked about the Marner situation. We will have a video going in depth because there's a lot of stuff. And literally at 7 p.m. Eastern is when we're going to have the video around there live. There's some rumblings that he's going to Vegas and then a sign and trade basically with the Leafs is gaining traction, we'll say. And we've been covering that for a while. I think it makes the most sense for almost all sides, depending on if Marner wants that extra year, which I think is kind of trending, in that way. People asking as well about the Brandon Carlo stuff. Again, Elliot Freeman said they're looking to trade a defenseman for a forward. there's been some rumblings about JJ Peterka to the Leafs, or rather JJ Peterka being traded and then it making sense for the Leafs. What's up, Gregory? I like that a lot. I love the Carlo for JJ Peterka trade, and I know you're a bit less fan of it because, of course, they need defensemen and stuff like that. But you work that out to where you get rid of Carlo, you sign maybe the Paul Bissonnette 9x4 is Eric Ekblad or something like that. You probably want a little bit longer, depending on what it is. It's very interesting. But again, there's probably gonna be some reports that come out that the Leafs aren't necessarily shopping Brandon Carlo, but we've heard that before. Josh was saying Elliot Friedman, Leafs are not, so that's possible as well.
Yeah. There is those reports, but the Bruins weren't shopping Brandon Carlo.
Yeah.
The Toronto Maple Leafs said, "Hello, Don Sweeney. Hello,
and I think
how are
shopping
you? We would like him."
Means actively shopping. I'm sure
Actively trying to
fielding
trade.
calls.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'd want a
Exactly.
Morgan Riley for JJ Peterka deal more than they'd want, Brandon Carlo for JJ Peterka if you're the Leafs.
Yeah.
But
It just doesn't make sense for the Buffalo Sabres, unfortunately, with their current makeup of the team. It makes no sense. And even if they got rid of Bo Byram, it still would make no sense. They have Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin. So unless they flip him somewhere else, that just gets messy, though. I don't think that works. But again, it's not that I don't like that trade. JJ Peterka is a great young player, right? And I think that a lot of people are underrating what he is because he's in Buffalo. He's going to be a great player. And again, not too much in terms of like what he can do on the power play. We don't really know that yet. And he's still very young. He can get there, but great player. I wouldn't make that trade unless you know that you're going to fill that spot on defense with a right shot defenseman, Brandon Carlo, that is. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but it could make some sense, that trade. But again, I feel like there's other moves that they need to make. I mean, if John Tavares leaves, Mitch Marner, we've talked about already ad nauseum. You're not going to replace him. That's not the point. You're not trying to replace Mitch Marner. You're trying to build a better team. But if you lose John Tavares, your center depth is Austin Matthews and David Kampf.
Yep.
You have a problem. So that is, I think, the maybe number one or number two thing to do right now. Obviously, Matthew Nyes and what's happening there, that is concerning as well. I feel like that should have been done already, but yet here we are. And if you look at, the last 9 years right here in a screenshot, I'm glad that the Leafs are keeping the two guys at the top. I'll tell you that, because that's what's going to happen. And the other two guys might be on their way out. So that is all I'll say about that. And a lot of people say that I'm a Mitch Marner hater. I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And I would like that. That's really what it is. I would like them to succeed. And I feel like there's certain players on this team that are holding them back.
yeah. And someone asked about Easton Cowan trade. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to. I think they're actually probably.
He might make the team.
Yeah, probably gonna try to use him on the third line. Yeah, I mean Brock Besser's an interesting one. We're trading Carlo, open up a spot for Philippe Myers. Could that be their thinking? Maybe it could be. But again, you still need I don't know how confident I am in that. You finally get a decor that's good, and then you get rid of it, or get rid of one of the biggest pieces. And it's interesting though. Someone asked, who do you expect the man on the power, or the main power play man to be now that Marner is gone? I mean, realistically, they'll probably go back. They'll probably get rid of the 5 forward spot and throw Riley in there on the top power play. It's probably the most likely outcome. Or they go out and they get somebody, like JJ Peterka, and they see how he does on a power play and go back to the 5 forwards. So it's interesting. And we will get Andrew Mangiapane here in a minute as well. We have some reports there. I popped up a couple of screenshots.
Yep.
I would rather Brock Besser over Nikolai Ehlers, so I don't think they get either.
Unlikely that they get either of them, because I feel like the dollar amounts are really going to get up there. Would also prefer Brock Besser. He's, buddies with Austin Matthews. If you put him on that wing, also underrated. Ehlers, not really a playoff performer. A little bit better than Mitch Marner in terms of physicality. Not really a playoff performer. Brock Besser is. Would love Brock Besser on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if they're going after that big fish. I feel like they really, really want to fill in the rest of this team to make it a solid team. So you, even if you squeak into the playoffs, you take a step back next year in the regular season, when it comes to the playoffs, you just have a solid team full of depth. All lines can score. All lines have identities. And I feel like that's kind of what they're going for. A lot of this also hinges on the fact that Austin Matthews better be healthy next season.
Yep.
Because if he's not, now you for sure have a problem. But again, he said he was going to be, and there's no concern. So I'll trust him on that, because obviously you can't just say that and then show up and you're still injured. So we'll see about that. But again, I wanted to shout out some of the chat too. A couple new faces in here. So shout out everyone for tuning in. Appreciate you.
If you are new, we make videos every single day. Really 2 videos a day, and live every single week. And once the season starts, last year went live for every single Leafs game besides 1 or 2. So We're going to be streaming every week, so make sure to... Also, if you're new here, hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. Let's try to get to 100 likes. We're at 46 right now. Yeah, Darius did shave his beard. He did a couple last week.
I did, yes. I've been getting quite a few questions about it, actually, and I guess I'll answer a few of them, most frequently asked questions right now. Yes, it is much colder. That is for sure. And no, I did not lose a bet, so I'll just leave it at that.
He did it all on his own.
That's
all
right.
On his own. Let's dive into Andrew Mangiapane a little bit here, because a new report has come out. Maple Leafs, along with 3 other teams, are expected to pursue Andrew Mangiapane once he hits the free agent mark. What's up, Patty? The Bolton, Ontario native, 14 goals, 14 assists. Now, I'm curious to see what you guys think about it in the chat. I will end the poll here, and I'll make a new poll because I want to keep these polls kind of involved. Yeah, July. I'll shave my beard if I actually don't have a beard, so it is what it is. Do you guys want to see Andrew Mangiapane as a depth signing? Darius, I'll ask you. It's interesting.
It's an interesting idea. We had a video on it maybe last week, at the end of last week, I think. I'm going to say this now. If anyone wants to clip it, go ahead. On July 1st, I'll say July 2nd. July 2nd, Andrew Mangiapane will be a Toronto Maple Leaf. 100%. This is a guy that they are going to sign. He played under Brad Treliving.
So Darius sources right here.
Yeah, well, not really sources, just the Darius guarantee going back to last season. But no, he will be a Toronto Maple Leaf. And I think people should be pretty excited about it. Yes, he's a smaller player, but he can add some depth scoring. This is a guy who can score. He's been scoring until he made the move to Washington. And I feel like that kind of messed him up a little bit, even though he was on a better team. He was playing a different role. So I feel like he's going to get some decent minutes with the Leafs. He's going to be relied upon to score goals in a bottom 6 role, and it'll be fun.
Jose with the $2 or $5 rather. Please trade, do the right moves. I sure hope so. People are also Jose, thank you again. People are asking for it. Jose is a stud. People are asking for a number. You guys are smart. Let me. I actually was about to do it. What number would be realistic here? We're talking like 2.5 mil.
Oh yeah, he's an interesting case where he's not making more this time around because he's making $5 million.
Let's go 2.5 million. So just to give you a number.
That's fair.
Also, Jose, thank you again for the super chat. Means a lot. Means a lot to Darius myself. Yeah, Profit. I got you. I get my yearly haircut and shave in July, right in free agency time.
But yeah, I think Mangiapane makes sense. It really makes sense, and he's familiar with the GM. And I think that, again, he was a very sneaky good player when he was in Calgary. That was only just, he's just removed from that, honestly. Yes, not a great year in Washington, but he's going to be making less. He's also from here. Pretty sure he's from Bolton. So that is also, nice. Have an opportunity to come here, play in a different role. They also don't have a definitive second line left wing. Like Bobby McMahon disappeared after March. So Mangiapane, I'm not saying he's your answer at second line left wing, but let's see what a guy like that can take that opportunity, let's say. Even if it's third line, maybe if they go out and get a winger like a Brad Marchand, then obviously you have that filled. But let's see him come into camp, battle it out. It'll be I think it'll be a good move.
Yep. We're also 35 likes off of 100 if you guys can help us with that. Also, so a couple people asking before the stream was live who the people are in the thumbnail. Mangiapane on the left, Tanner Jeannot on the right.
Tanner Jeannot, because Tanner Jeannot, which I guess we can kind of get into now, for some reason, Nick, is not necessarily linked to the Leafs, but he's a free agent now, and a lot of people are like, he'd be a great fit on the Leafs. Tanner Jeannot is a cardio merchant. He doesn't do anything out there, right? And I maybe he can get into fights. If the Leafs were to sign him for maybe league minimum, sure, I guess, but I don't think he helps your team in any way. It would just be like signing Ryan Reeves again, except maybe he can move around the ice.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm more interested in the trades that they're going to make, and we know they're more interested in trades. I mean, John Tavares, the fact he hasn't signed yet, a little bit intriguing. The draft, obviously, very soon. Free agency, very, very soon. Again, and I want to ask, now that we're able to it's good to see everyone's face again. It's been a while. Well, I guess we've not seen their virtual faces, I guess. Vicus with the 50... Don't know the currency. I'm going to check. I'm assuming that's like Swedish. Am I correct in that? 50 Swedish dollars, Swedish something. What would your take be on bringing Bunting back and some salary was retained? First of all, Victus, thank you very much. It's a great question.
That is Swedish.
Okay, I was right. Swedish. Okay, yeah. I Googled it for saying Swedish kroner. That's what it is.
Kroner, yeah.
So thank you for the 50. Means the world there. I'll let you take over, Darius. I'm trying to find the super chat thing. Thank you again for the donation. No, thank you again for the donation. I think it's an interesting idea.
What is this about specifically?
Bringing Bunting back.
Bunting is interesting. So Bunting is similar to me, like Sam Bennett. The thing we've been talking about, Sam Bennett's not leaving Florida. I don't want to hear it in the comments, okay? I'll say that first. He's not leaving Florida. But if he were to come to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the whole conversation was he's not going to get away with as much as he does in Florida, which is true. We all know it to be true. Bunting is the exact same way. When he was in Toronto, the refs were targeting him. It was so obvious. So maybe not for that reason, but I love the way that Michael Bunting plays. I loved him on the Leafs. It made sense for him to leave the Leafs to make that much money, right? To get his payday. I totally don't blame him for that. But honestly, I think, I think that, yeah, I would love him back. I always did like him. I like the way he played on that top line as well. Like, I thought he was perfect in that role. Obviously Zach Hyman would be better in that role, but, another interesting, I just thought of it. Interesting proposition. Brian Rust, his no movement clause is up on July 1st from the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's scored 30 goals last year. Was really good with Sidney Crosby, that type of player like a Zach Hyman on a line like that. That could be an interesting trade option. Although I think that, you're selling really high on him if you're Pittsburgh. So that might not be a smart move for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but just somebody I was wondering about because it sounds like he's going to be available as well.
Yeah, I love it. Also, shout out to you, Vickers, for supporting from Sweden. It's
yeah,
respect it. We love it there. Shout out to you. I've never been there, but I'm sure I'd love it there forever. Love the support.
I heard that the sun goes down I heard it's always dark. I don't know if that's true, but if you could let us know in the chat, I heard it's just always dark there. So
yeah, Aaron Ekblad. Yeah, I like it a lot. Now,
yeah, Aaron Ekblad would.
Don't love him as a PED user or anything like that. But assuming that was just a one-time thing, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If you're getting rid of Morgan Riley or Brandon Carlo, perfect replacement. He's a better defenseman than Morgan Riley, I think, at this point, especially given 2 years now in a row of bad play by Riley. It's interesting, though, because how would that work? I mean, you obviously would trade Morgan Riley to a team like it's free agent Aaron Ekblad, so then you sign Ekblad in. I love, again, the Paterka. I mean, if Brad Shilving can somehow, I don't think it would happen. A masterclass of Riley for Paterka, obviously some things going out the other way. For some reason, find a way for the Sabres to do it, and then bring in Ekblad. You got better at defense, and you got not better at the wing comparing it to Mitch Marner, but you basically retooled there in a different manner, and you get a championship, player on your team. I think the Leafs get one of the big three in Florida. I think they get one of them. I think it's probably most likely Ekblad 1, Marchand 2, Bennett 3 as it stands right now. But I do think they get one of the. I do think they get one of the three, and then build around from there. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a little Brandon Tanev action with the Leafs. So it's going to be intriguing.
So the interesting thing with the three guys from Florida, that it was reported today by Chris Johnson that not all three of them are going to be staying, or that quote, it would be very difficult for that to happen because all of them are going to get paid way too much, basically. So that is what's happening there. I don't think they're keeping all three. Now, Sam Bennett, we know the whole noise around him is that he doesn't want to play in Canada. He's not coming to the Leafs. That's always been a storyline for the last couple of weeks at this point, right? The interesting thing I think with Aaron Ekblad is that there's none of that noise, right? At all. And obviously Darren Ferris, I know, is Sam Bennett's agent. So of course that's going to be out there, but there's none of that noise. So it just sounds to me like he wants to be paid accordingly, and he'll pretty much sign wherever if it's a good fit and the team is competitive. So I could see the Leafs signing him. There's a couple other teams in the mix as well, of course. But I think that if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, look at the decor right now without moving. It's not bad. It's really not bad. You might have to figure out something with Morgan Riley, but it's actually, I think you can win a championship with that decor that played last year. I do. And if you look at, obviously Aaron Ekblad would be a great addition, but I do think that the defense is fine. If you look at the forward group, that's where you need help at this point. And not only just because you're losing guys, you've always needed help there with some depth scoring. And again, I thought it was more so the way they played. They changed the way they played, but some of the players did not change the way that they played within that system. And Brad Marchand is the guy I think you target now. And it's not just because of what he can bring on the ice, although he has played a lot of hockey as of late. It's the mentality and the fact that, Sam Bennett came out after they won the cup and said, this is a guy who's fearless on the ice. He pushes everyone's buttons. He's challenging you to be better. They need more of that in the room. And not just that, Austin Matthews is the captain. Nobody's going to change that at this point. He is the captain of this hockey team. There needs to be a similar structure to the Edmonton Oilers and other teams that have won in the past that is like, hey, it's not that you answer to these 4 guys. You answer to the captain. Whatever the captain says goes, right? And if the ship goes down, it's the captain's fault. You trade him, right? Then we'll figure it out when we get there. But that's kind of the way that everything needs to go. This whole thing with the core 4, it just needs to end. And they need help on the offensive. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but they need help offensively. And I think Marchand could be one answer.
It's going to get crazy, folks. And again, if you're new here, if you want everything Leafs related, and quite literally the moment that it happens, we'll have a video. We might have a video up before you even see it on Twitter. That's how fast we'll be with it. Marner, so they should try to trade Marner to Vegas. Yeah, I think that's probably like the 30th percentile outcome right now. I think there's a 1 in 3 chance that he gets traded to Vegas, and then the rest just whatever. I think that's. There was also rumblings about him, Chris Johnson, I believe. Darius, you should have this in the video later.
Yep.
House shopping in Vegas. So
there was someone saw him.
I believe it was Chris Johnson said as well, right? So it's interesting.
I don't know, so I'm not going to say that. But stay tuned for a video because I'll double check that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it right now, but
that I definitely saw it though. I mean, Vegas always. I actually had someone ask me yesterday when I was at basketball. There's a guy who knows obviously I'm on Leafs Side. Said, "Where do you think Marner's going?" And my first initial thought, I didn't really think too hard, was just Vegas. I feel like that's the most obvious answer.
It's been out there for a while
in my mind, and also it's not a hockey city, so it's like it's probably good for him. Give me Marchand, Domi, Nylander, second line. How many more years has Matthews signed for? The captain, Pedersen. Matthews has,
I believe it's 3 years, 2 years.
I think 3 left. Let me look though. I believe it's 3 left. Because he signed that 4-year deal. It might be.
It is 3 years left.
Yeah, so he's a free agent 2028, 2029. Yeah, so I was right. 3 years. $13.25 million cap hit, which of course goes down, like the cap hit that is, the percentage rather, not the actual number, as it goes on. I don't get the hate from Marner. Blame manager for not trading him years ago and was clear what kind of player he is. Very skilled but soft. I think that's a very reasonable take. I mean, I think that's it. I don't like Mitch Marner. It's not his fault that the Leafs are in the situation they're in, and he doesn't owe the Leafs anything at this point. Doesn't owe the Leafs a single thing.
No, it's true. There's mistakes on both ends. Marner signs a contract to be a good hockey player, show up in big moments. Did not do that. Management should have traded this player 2 years ago. They didn't do that. Unfortunately, like the craziest part is I don't even think Shanahan got fired for this. I think that his contract expired and they didn't renew it. Right. Yeah. Whereas he should have been fired for this because that is a fireable offense to not trade that player.
3. I just checked here. He's a free agent in 2039. So it is 3 because he's
3 years. Yeah. He has this year coming up and then 2 years after. So
yeah, that is
could be interesting.
Correct.
Sounds like that sign and trade is not off the table though. We've been talking about it for a while, but it could happen with Vegas. And the reason that I think it could happen is because there was rumblings this morning about Vegas making a trade for or trading Thomas Hertl to Carolina. That's basically
that's bad memories I'm bringing up. The Florida Panthers series.
I think that was Marner's turnover actually, but there was rumblings of that. Apparently that's not happening right now. I'm not, you never know. They could pick it up in a day's time or something like that. But Vegas has to shed some cap if they want to sign Mitch Marner. So maybe, Vegas is even going, listen, we want to sign you. This makes sense. You want to come here, but we have to shed some cap. Would you be open to working with the Toronto Maple Leafs to get this done? Right. We want you. Let's get this done early. Kind of like Chris Tanev, not exactly the same situation, but like acquire the rights. Right. And they shed some cap. It could make a lot of sense, but it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing.
Yep. It's with the situation where people, if he's signing Carolina, he'll be the most hated Leaf ever. Riley will lose a lot of money if he gets bought out. Only $2.1 million cap for the. I don't think he's gonna get bought out. I think they'd rather just keep him. Now
he'll play or he'll be traded.
It's kind of the same thing as David Kampf. Like there's been some rumblings about him being bought out, but I'm pretty sure like the buried cap ends up being the same or like cheaper if they don't buy him out than if they do. So it's like it's interesting.
I have to say, so I saw a report. We're gonna cover this in a video as well. But David Kampf and Cal Yarncroke actively being shopped. By the way, just so everyone knows, right now they're trying to move both of those contracts. I like a lot of the moves Brad Treliving has made as GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Almost all of them, like they've been great. He brought in Stolars, fixed the defense, a lot of really good moves. David Kampf's contract is horrifying. I think he's gonna have a hard time,
but it's not good.
He's gonna have a hard time moving that contract. Like I really don't
Only
know if
2
he's
years
gonna
left,
take
right?
that. Yeah, but 2.4 for like that player, a lot of teams are like, do I really need to take
Oh, yeah,
this
he's not
on?
going to be able to move it.
No, like he's gonna have to attach a sweetener, and the Leafs have no sweeteners to attach, right? Like you got to save that for something.
There's been a lot of fiery takes out there about that Scott Laughton trade already too. Looks pretty bad, but I think it'll be all right.
Well, you know the beauty of it, he has 1 more year, so maybe it can turn around. But
And they need him really
look
because
great.
they don't have
Yeah.
any other players. Someone's saying that I forget
gotta
who it
play
was.
center.
Robert Stacy. Marner's going to the Ducks. That's why they moved Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, I heard that as well. See, this is the interesting thing about the Ducks and what they're doing. They also just got Chris Kreider. Like they're trying to be competitive all of a sudden.
Marner would make
right?
sense.
So Marner would make sense to go there. And not only that, if you look up the center ice position, they do have some options there. John Tavares can make a lot of sense there as well. So, and they, by the way, right now with the moves they've made, they have $36 million of cap space still. Like absurd. They still have to sign their goaltender Dustel, but the Ducks, don't sleep on them to sign a bunch of guys in the offseason. I think they want to make the playoffs next season. So
People are going to enjoy Boise Crow, Marner's gone. We stink because of it. Lauren, Marner's a very, very good player. I'm just like,
I actually don't think they'll be worse for it. But
and maybe they won't be worse. Maybe they are worse. Either way, I'm fine with taking the risk of being worse because the best we've done in the past 8 years is a second rounder. So it's like, and this last year was our best year and they still lost. So it's like, I'm fine with any change at this point. I'd rather have my heart broken in a way that's not the same year after year. That's where I'm standing with it. Should Lawton actually play third line center? Probably next year. Yeah, probably next year.
Try that. I understand why it didn't work out this year.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
It was a stretch, though. I will admit. I mean, we were live during the trade, and we both said it was too much. Or maybe it was Carlo who said it was a lot. Either way.
Carlo was an interesting one, yeah. The Lawton one I was totally okay with.
First and Gurbankin,
yeah,
not crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is, I know a lot of people like to compare it to other trades. Lawton has term.
Yeah,
you have that adds
bad term.
That's value
because he sucks. No, I'm just kidding. He was bad with the Leafs, and he was way better in the playoffs. He was actually one of the better playoff, like not point scorers, but bottom six guys.
Yeah.
The good news is, as much as you hate or like the trade, there's not many players like him available on like the free agency market, like right now necessarily. Like Brandon Tanev, if you want to compare that, I think Lawton has more skill. They need players, so luckily they have him. I think a full camp will help him. To be clear though, I don't agree with the trade. Like I think in hindsight, I don't think Brad Living does it, obviously, but I think he'll be fine. And that could all change next year. If he puts up 20 goals, 15 assists next year or something, 35 points as a fourth liner, then it's worth the first round pick.
Exactly. And we don't know what's going to happen. He has to settle in. He's only ever known Philadelphia, and he was having a really hard time settling in. So I wonder if he settles in next season. Someone else brought up, or Profit, I should say, brought up Patrick Kane to play on Matthews' wing. I think that could be interesting too if Matthews is like, hey, come on over, play the wing. Patrick Kane, by the way, everyone was skeptical because he had that hip surgery. Man, he is putting up points still in Detroit on a bad team. Like he is really, really good. Not only that, to go back to Brock Besser just for a second, because I had a thought. I wonder if you somehow convince Brock Besser to come in on a shorter term deal and say, we're going to stick you to Austin Matthews. You're going to score a bazillion goals with him and put up a bazillion points. Or maybe you play in the second line, something like that. And then you can go cash in somewhere else in like 2 years or something. I wonder if you can work something like that out, because Patrick Alvin was talking about in Vancouver, it was really hard to move him at the deadline and nobody really wanted to pay for him, which I think is crazy. So maybe there's something to that. If you're like, hey, listen, you come in a little bit cheaper, you could still get paid. You're still relatively young, when you hit the market again. So I wonder if that's something they can kind of swing there, but we'll see. Nick, I don't know if do we have the lineup, the Leafs lineup? Because I wanted to bring up Nick Robertson as well.
So.
We might not have it, but it's okay. So Nick Robertson, by the way, I wanted to bring this up as well. And Holmberg, gone.
He's gone.
Gone.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they're also trying to move them. They're probably a more likely candidate for a sign and trade than Mitch Marner, but that'll be interesting to see how that works out. But I for sure, I know nobody's going to disagree with this, but I think Holmberg is more likely to return.
Yeah.
I also don't see that happening though.
Yeah, I think I just clear house with all those mid players. Why don't Leafs weaponize their cap space? And maybe they could get Mercer and Pallet or something like that. Weaponize their cap space. I don't think they can't though, in the sense of like you can't really. I mean, you can't really. They have so many empty spots that you can't really spend $13 million or $12 million or even $10 million on one player, because then you're going to have literally no money to sign everybody else. And the good news is the cap's going up. Like, I think the most they're going to want to do with their cap space and their cap flexibility is let's assume that Marner leaves and John Tavares leaves. Let's just assume both of those things happen. That's saving you. We'll assume Marner's 13. Let's just assume John Tavares is 6. Because I think if he leaves, it's probably because it's 6 or more. So let's just assume you save 19 million. You then need to fill out every single spot in your roster that's not Matthew Nyes, who, assuming he returns, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, and Scott Laughton. So your entire fourth line, I guess Max Domi, if you want to bring him back. I mean, if you don't trade him.
He signed. Yeah.
But it's like, you need so many spots. Yeah. So let's say you bring up Easton Cowan. Let's say you have him start the year. You sign Brandon Tanev for a little bit. That's possible. You bring in Andrew Mangiapane at 2.5. You Jacob or Steven Lorentz, you bring him back. I think that's probably going to happen too. So maybe, there's still tons of spots left. So it's like, maybe Alex Steves finally gets a run, an extended run, or Jacob Quillen, like someone like that. But there's so many players. And the problem with this is that so many other teams are going to be going for these like low end guys that, the Leafs can't just go after one guy. I think the max they do here is spend $9 million on Brad Marchand, then fill the rest down. I think that's about or Aaron Ekblad. I think those are the two like big fish, but I don't think they're going to, if they're going to do something huge, it's going to be via trade.
Yeah. But I don't think I think that they want to leave themselves with a lot of flexibility in season. And so they could do something at the trade deadline if they want, and even heading into next year's free agency. So I feel like they're going to, like Steven Lorentz, like Anthony's saying, he's not even signed yet. And we all think that was a surefire, definitely re-sign that guy. Now, I think most of the reason is because they're trying to make some other moves before that to get an idea of what the team will look like. But I like Lorentz. I would bring him back. But I think they're trying to build like a third and fourth line that are all like around $1 million. Around $1 million. So you have a lot of flexibility in that way. But not to go top heavy still. Like sign one big free agent, make a trade, right? Reconfigure the team a little bit and go from there. And I think that, you could be looking at I know it's cliche, but addition by subtraction with Mitch Marner and a couple other guys, right? That the team might be better for more balance. And even Berube's talked about it since he got here. The team is not balanced. It's not. And you need to have a balanced team in the playoffs. It's really hard to get certain guys going. If there's a lot of special teams, you have the same guys playing on the power play and the penalty kill. And then when you go back on 5-on-5, the whole focus is to get them rested, to get them back on the ice. You can't win like that. That is the reason that Ryan O'Reilly left and Luke Schenn. The exact reason. So you have to have a more balanced team. So
Dave,
it'll be
H. Yeah. Columbus are looking for a top D man. What about this? Morgan Rielly to Columbus for Olivier and a draft pick. That would save $4.5 million.
It's not a terrible idea. Then you can use that money. A lot of people forget these things when you make trades, right? You can go and spend that money now. Not horrible. You have to go get a defenseman then. You have to go get Bo Byram or something, right? So it's interesting. You need another left defenseman. Or a top defenseman. You can go out and get a top defenseman with that money.
You could. I mean, I also see a world where Max Pacioretty, I think the Leafs are probably going to try to bring him back. I think he's probably going to stay. Either that or he goes back home. I mean, I think I could see a world where they, I don't know. I mean, Columbus, it depends on how they view Morgan Rielly, but I could see a world where they make a trade for a forward and just bring in Philip Myers and let him run loose, or let Matt Benning run loose.
For a bit, yeah. Matt Benning, I think he's still signed too, actually. I forgot about that guy. But yeah, it's gonna be
Ben Danford, rush him.
No, he's gonna
he got years left.
He's got another year. Yeah. He Brandon Tanev, I think, will sign with the Leafs. I think that is obviously his brother's here. They're from here. I feel like he is gonna come here. So that'll be interesting. But I just don't know how you fill in the rest of the lineup. Yeah. And no, Ryan O'Reilly, that was part of the reason, more specifically, both of them. But it was he did not like the idea of how much the team relied on 4 guys. The philosophy of the team, he was not a fan of it.
Yep. People asking about Noah Dobson. We had videos on him. I'd like it.
Expensive.
Very expensive.
In terms of a trade.
I know it's yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Glenn, there's going to be a lot of not old, but old in the NHL sense, 35 and above. Jonathan Taves, I kind of liked him. Makes sense. Goes back home to Winnipeg. I mean, other than that, Patrick Kane makes some sense. Max Pacioretty. I mean, there's a lot of A lot of interesting ones. And yeah, their goaltending situation's set. They have Stolarz, he's UFA after this year, and they have Wall, who's going to be the goalie that, I mean, maybe the goalie of the future. Wouldn't be surprised if like they just sign another goalie after Anthony Stolarz and do the same thing.
I think the plan. So Stolarz obviously is a great goalie, but he's a stopgap option. Like he's not going to be the Leafs goalie in 5 years, right? So, I think the guy is Axiomov right now, and they're just letting him kind of marinate and see if he can handle these big moments, and then at some point, hopefully, be the goaltender. But you don't know. You don't know. You need to give him time to develop still. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think all eyes are on him. He's supposed to be the guy in a couple of years. But they have good options. Joseph Woll's great, and obviously Stolarz was fantastic until he got hurt. So he's been great. But yeah, Dobson would be good, but you'd have to move a couple pieces. You probably have to move one of the right shot defensemen the Leafs have. It would be expensive to go get Dobson. I heard a rumor that a team offered a first for Dobson, and the Islanders said, no, thank you. We want more. So that's a lot. That's certainly a lot. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Thoughts on Domi?
Thoughts on Domi.
I think he gets. I was gonna say thoughts he gets. It keeps coming up. I think he stays.
I think so. What I've heard is the Maple Leafs as an organization are not very happy with Max Domi's season last year. Not that they're looking to trade him, but they're not happy with the season that he had. If something were to present itself, I would not say that Max Domi's safe. Like, I don't think they're actively shopping him, but if something popped up and they could throw him in there or something like that, like I could see that happening, but I don't think it's very likely. He'll probably return. But he didn't have a great season. He was really good in his first year as a Leaf, but didn't have a good year. And I would put him with Austin Matthews. Whoever they end up signing, I would, they need a center. Fill out that second line, obviously, but I would put Domi up with Matthews and Nyes, because Domi is a underrated playmaker when he gets going with some good players, and he was playing good and physical with Austin Matthews.
All right. Yep. Folks, we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes. It is a bit of a, we have some videos to do and things like that. But before we do, we're 4 likes away from 100. Also, over like 400 people in here, which is crazy. We're going to be going live every single week. Also, if you're new to the stream, because I'm seeing a ton of new faces. Again, we go live after every game, so we have, a bit of our community built here. We're going to be doing call-ins as well in these streams where you guys can call in and ask about trades, ask about reports. We're going to be live next week. A week from today is the free agency opening up, which is absolutely absurd because there is a lot of things going to be happening. We'll have videos as well, but stay tuned for the call-ins. Members do get priority, and yeah, it's going to be, what's up, Positive? Good to see you again. Are you streaming again? Every single week, Prophet, every single week. We'll tentatively say every Tuesday. Like Tuesday's the best day for me personally. So I think Tuesday, but a bit later in this, like 5:30 Eastern is probably a bit better, so people get home from work and things like that, or even 6 Eastern. So you can put in your calendars. We'll definitely be live next Tuesday and beyond that as well. So if you're new to the streams, every single week, folks, every single week, we're gonna want to. We took a little month off there from streams, and because of course we did like 80 of them or whatever it was, so over 6 months. But videos every single day, 2 videos a day. And hopefully we can build a little community.
I think it was more than that, actually.
It would have been.
With the playoffs. It was pretty fun, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. Shout out to everybody.
Right. I know we're not even at free agency yet, and I find myself watching highlights sometimes. And the Stanley Cup was just awarded, and I'm like, man, really wish the Leafs were.
It's rough. Anyways, folks, thank you for all the support. Again, if you're new, we hit 100 likes. Thank you all. Hit the subscribe button if you're new as well. Every time big news breaks, anytime any bit of news breaks, videos for you all, streams for you all. It's going to be a crazy summer, and this is the calm before the storm now, but a week until things really break loose here. So we'll keep you up to date with all the latest. Good to see all your faces again. Shane, again, thank you for Jose, thank you for the donation. Shane, thank you for the members. And Nick, thank you for the members. And thank each and every one of you for watching. And again, if you were in here now, we're dropping a video in about an hour's time. Comment on the video. I came from the stream. Comment on the video that I came from the stream. We're going to heart every single one of them. We're going to read every single comment today. So we read every comment every day, but we're going to heart every comment. Say you're from the stream, the video that goes up 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, folks, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there, and have a good evening.
Yep.
Leafs Digest, your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first puck drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the...
All right, well, Jose or Robert with the 5. we were going to wrap up. Paul as well. I know some people probably left here very quickly before I wrap up. We're always keeping an eye out. Robert, first of all, great to see you again. Trade Riley and Domi to Florida and make a run at Ekblad. Don't need Bennett. Run the same problems. Robert, thank you for the 5. And it's great to see you back as well here. We had a little bait there because Robert donated when the time hit. Paul as well. Paul, I'm sorry. We'll be going live earlier next Tuesday. We'll be live next Tuesday. But
Definitely. Yeah.
Robert, just want to thank you there before I wrap up. Now, the real thing is the end is happening. Thank you all. Robert, you're the best. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back. Robert was at the buzzer.
We'll be
back
we'll
very,
be
very
live
soon.
as free agency opens on Tuesday. It's a holiday, so we'll be live.
Enjoy
We'll
the
be live.
music. Cheers.
Please digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends untold. From first pop drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the drama unfold.